Welcome to another episode of the Boston Comedy Show. I'm usually here with Joey Voices as the other host, but he's off on another engagement, and we have another great guest here with us this afternoon. We have the incredibly talented Paul D'Angelo.
So that's it. Joey couldn't make it. So I'm going. Why is Mike calling me at the last minute? Paul, it's an emergency. What are you doing today? Can you be here? Oh, wow. Joey bailed on you, and I'm the lifeboat.
Well, Joey's always with me, as you know. He's good with questions.
Yeah.
And he's going to keep things moving. So he's usually the other host on the show.
Yeah.
And we do this from another location, usually on Tuesdays at Pearl Street Station. But Wakefield Community Access was nice enough to have us.
Yeah, they're great here.
Oh, my
Ryan's
God.
great. Ian, great, good people, good facilities too. Nice.
And thank you for coming down. And you were the first guest that I had in mind.
I know. I'm just busting. I love you.
Thank you. Love you too.
In honor of you. I'm dressed for my show tonight, but I have blue suede shoes. I know you're an Elvis impersonator. Don't step on them. Don't step on them, baby.
Appreciate the respect.
Yeah.
Where is your show tonight?
Oh, by the time this airs, it will be over. So it really doesn't matter. Maja up in Danvers. They have a showroom there.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't take a lot of stuff in August because I got this art show coming up in September in Wakefield. So, been working on that.
Tell me a little about the art show before we dive deep into
Wakefield. The old light department on Albion Street.
Okay.
Which is right off of Main Street in Wakefield. They made it into a cultural center.
The old light department. After all the big electric bills I've had, they've obviously made a nice new.
They have
one.
they have a new one now across from Vetsfield. Yeah, and now it's a cultural center. And they gave me a 3 weeks in September. There's like 2 or 3 days a week, and I got the whole gallery. It's gonna be lots of fun. It's gonna be like a rock and roll art show. I'm gonna have music playing
and that's for how many weeks is it?
It's for 3 weeks. Starts September 16th, ends the 29th.
And I've seen a lot of your art on Facebook, and a lot of the stuff I mean, you do so many different subject matters. I mean, a lot of it is rock and roll.
It's weird because I never drew anything. The thing I'm getting a lot of people wanting, can I buy this or that or whatever, and I never, honest to God, I never drew anything to sell. Other than when I was in law school and I'd do advertising to pay the bills every now and then. But everything I've done in art was either for my own enjoyment, or for my family, or for friends, or something like that. So nothing was done with the intent of selling it. And I know I'm a comedian who does art. I mean, I see some people who are artists just like blow me away. And I know where I stand as a comedian, but I know where I stand as an artist too. It's
unbelievable.
Yeah, but for some reason, it resonates with people. Maybe like my act, it's straightforward. There's no hidden meanings behind the thing. It's just me. A lot of it's tributes to Gloucester, and there's a lot of Cape Ann, Gloucester stuff because my family has a home up near there, and I just got off my boat today up in Gloucester Harbor, and Gloucester's like another town. I grew up in Wakefield. I'm back in Wakefield, but there's going to be a whole section with that, like nautical, ocean type stuff. Then I got all the rock and roll stuff.
The rock and roll stuff is unbelievable.
And the paintings, the scratch boards, which is a thing that I started in high school. We draw the picture on a treated paper and you scrape it off like with dentist tools and stuff like that. So it leaves a negative, basically, of a picture. I've got all those. I only started painting like about, I think, 2015, really. I did one painting in high school, and then I waited 40 years to do it again. Even those scratch boards, I did a whole bunch like in the 70s. I probably have 45 scratch boards. I did like 22 in the 70s, and then there was a 40-year gap before I did them again.
I know the 70s was a lot of drugs and rock and roll, but what was the subjects that you'd painted or did in the 70s?
Well, I never had any formal art training. I took the Wakefield High School. I took art class, and it's the only thing I ever got D's in, because the teacher would say, "Okay, and we're going to do these scratch boards, and we're going to do this line. We're going to make the stem of the flower." And by that, now I'm over there. Go, "Oh, look, this is the skeleton on the Grateful Dead album cover." And
Smoking a joint.
That's very nice, but it's not what I asked for, and I get like a D. And so that was my only that was my only training, and I just like draw for fun, and that's why I learned to do the scratch board. They were doing something and they were drawing some flower in the pot, and I was off like drawing rock and roll. Even back then, I was music, and that's why this is like kind of a rock and roll art show, because music is important to me as art and comedy in my life, and it was an excuse to buy this new this EV system. It's like a Bose system. I put some tunes on that.
And what genre or what type of music do you crank out when do you listen to music when you're doing it? When you're drawing?
You know what's funny? Like people say, like I'm doing a painting of Tom Petty. They say, do you like listen to Tom Petty to inspire?
When you're doing it, right?
Well, no, when I do that, I like hear a song and I go grab my guitar, and then all the paint's getting dry and everything, and
Oh my God.
and I stop playing the guitar, and meanwhile I leave the painting, so I can't really do that.
That's right. And you play too. I remember. Was that the original? Not to go off track, but your original comedy, going back.
Yeah, I started with a guitar. Yeah, because to make a long story short, I was an assistant DA, Essex County, as you know. When I started doing, I never had no intention of doing comedy, but I did a bachelor party for my show, like a roast, and I talked for 45 minutes. I think I was half in the bag. And everyone, oh, we want to hire you. I go, no, this is just a one-time thing. But now I start going to comedy shows instead of being just an audience member. Now I'm a critic. I'm going, wait a second, this guy, I think I could do this, right? So I go, but I have this disadvantage in comedy.
And not to date you, I'm calling it experience.
1985 or so, okay?
Okay, yeah.
I've been a DA for a few years. I'm making $18,000 a year.
Oh my God.
I can't even pay the bills. I'm doing a little bartending, doing some drawing. My car would get hit. I'd collect the insurance money.
Hit me again, throwing carriages at your car.
Every week, I'm going into Boston. I'm running up bar tab. So I do my first, they inspire me to do my first open mic. But I prepared for a year before I even got on stage, because I knew I couldn't go through that obligatory period where comedians suck.
No,
I have to be good like immediately, because everyone's going to go, you're such a good lawyer. Why do you want to do this? You're ruining your life. So I had to be like a good comedian.
That was a huge.
At the very beginning.
That was the mecca at that time. Like who were the other heavyweights at the time that you were not competing with, but rolling with?
Oh, Louis. I found this out later. Louis told me. Louis C.K. was in line at Stitches on Calm Ave to sign up for his first night was my first night.
Oh my God! Wow. I didn't even know he was from around here.
Yeah, he started when I started. Mark Maron.
Yeah, I remember Mark.
Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
They came around that same time, and then they left. But guys who made it: Dane Cook, Patrice O'Neill, John Panette, Kevin Knox, the late Kevin Knox.
Yeah, God bless his soul.
All these people. Yeah, and of course, then you had the bass, the
Don Gavins of the world.
They set the bar so high in
that was
Boston
a tough time
comedy.
to jump
Kenny
into
Rogerson and Mike Donovan and Gavin and
Stephen Wright
and Stephen Wright and Lenny and stuff like that. It set the bar incredibly high.
And that was like Nick's Comedy Stop. Yeah. The Ding Ho.
So if you're gonna make it, I lived in L.A. for 6 years. New York, I spent a lot of time in New York. Those are melting pots where comedians come from all over the country. But other than Vegas, which is a entertainment destination, Boston was so head and shoulders about everybody, every other town.
A lot of raw talent.
But not even close. Like you go someplace else, and some guy in Boston who's barely an opening act is like God at this other
crushing
city.
it.
Yeah, it's because these guys like Lenny and Kenny Rogerson, these guys set the bar so high. So now I'm going into this.
You're dipping your toe in the water,
I'm going into this very competitive business, and I got to be good like right away. And I only did about, I'd say, less than 20 open mics, and I quit because my parents were on my back. What are you doing? Right. My mother, who came to my first show, she said, "I'm glad you got this out of your system." Right. That's what. Thanks for your encouragement. Thanks. And so. So I only did those things, and then now you got to get a job with a law firm in Boston and stuff. You're a good trial lawyer, and you got to do this. So, this is what I do. So I take interviews with these firms in Boston, and I get some job offers, and I go, I need a month to make a decision. So, in the meantime, I go, I don't want this job. God, that's going to be.
You were on the comedy. You had the comedy bug.
I'm gonna. Well, I maybe I had the non-lawyer bug.
Right. Yeah. But was it leaking out into the courtroom? Was your shtick leaking out in the courtroom?
Well, always. Well, let me just conclude this
Okay,
is that now I go. There's no way I'm going to take this job voluntarily. I got to create a situation where I can't possibly get out of it. So I bought a red RX-7 that I couldn't afford on the salary. I go, this will force me to take a job in Boston. Instead, I panic at the last minute. I don't want to become an adult yet. I call up Mike Clark, Lenny's brother, and Barry Katz, who went on to produce Last Comic Standing.
I remember him. Yep.
They were the big shot bookers in Boston. Hi, my name's Paul D'Angelo. I'm reading off a list of clubs in New York that I've never even gone to. I played at the Dangerfields, the Carolines. Can I do an audition? Yeah, come on. Now I come, but I show up with my guitar.
Oh, wow.
And I used to have, I had a home for divorced men. I had 4 divorced guys come and live with me. They would come to my house, the doorbell would ring, and there'd be a guy with, he's got 1 suitcase and 1 green trash bag with all his possessions.
He's got the stick with the...
I got no place to go, help me, right? And I take him in, and then a year later, you go, thanks, Paul, and another guy would be standing there, I got no place to go, come on in. And so, my friend, we would go out to a bar, and we'd come back, and I'd make Bloody Marys and Egg McMuffins and things, and would
all
bring
the fun
girls
drunk
back.
foods.
And my friend go, play those funny songs you do. I go, no, I'd be really shy. No, I don't. Go on, play those songs. So I had like Bob Dylan singing like a Flintstone instead of like a Rolling Stone.
Parody. So you're doing a lot of song parodies.
Yeah. So now I come back, and when I do the audition, I got the guitar, and bingo, you're a headliner, and all of a sudden I'm headlining, and I'm working 4 to 7 nights a week and being an assistant DA. So that's how it got started. That's how and this is a convoluted way of answering your question about the guitar. Yeah, the guitar I only did for the first few years, and I dropped it eventually. Why? Because I had too much to say that I wanted to say. I wasn't writing new stuff for the guitar because I was writing new material that I wanted to hear about. People were calling me a guitar act, even though I only did the last 10 minutes.
How much time did you have with the guitar act?
Maybe 10 or 15 minutes, but I would do that at the end of a 45-minute show.
Oh, my God.
So, but they say, oh, he's a guitar act. And to be honest with you, I didn't want to carry it anymore. I didn't want to get there early, set it up. That's how lazy I was. Because I had to go to court the next day.
Briefcase and a guitar.
I had to go to court the next day. I can't wait till, to get there early. I can't get there early. I'm just getting out of court. I'm getting something to eat. I'm running off to a show. I don't have time to get there, set up the thing ahead of the show and everything, because I'm getting there just in time to go on, headline the show. And
there wasn't a lot of guys doing that at the time.
Yeah,
with the
Chance
guitar.
Langton was. DJ Hazard had moved to New York.
Plunkett. I remember Plunkett from back
but
in
he
the
was
day.
he was a happy hour.
Yeah, a
They were
bar
happy
drinking.
hour. So, Chance, DJ Hazard were the ones that really did it. And then, and it got, you know what? I opened up for over 60 international music acts because of the guitar. I think primarily. I mean, the Monkees and Ray Charles and
Diana Ross too, right?
Franklin. Not Diana Ross.
Oh, Aretha Franklin. Okay.
No,
yeah.
Aretha Franklin, Ray Charles, the Four Tops, Temptations, Huey Lewis, Meatloaf for a few years, REO Speedwagon, Doobie Brothers, Engelbert, Tom Jones.
I just saw him up on a billboard up on Route 1.
Engelbert?
Yeah, he's
still going.
Yeah, still going.
My
strong.
brother idolizes Engelbert. One of the times I opened up for Engelbert was at the North Shore Music Theater, and I brought my brother backstage, and he never forgot. It was like the highlight of his life.
That's a great venue.
Engelbert, yeah.
The theater.
I used to do all the music theaters, and then it's a long story. I don't want to talk about it. I get frozen out of that.
So you got rid of you phased out the guitar.
Yeah. So that was a long way of. You asked about the guitar. That's the story of.
So I go to your Facebook page because I like to check out the artwork, and I see a lot of the earlier photos.
With the guitar, Stevie D's.
Yeah.
Plays Nick's in Boston. I had my own show at Nick's in Boston for 7, 8 years. Yeah. I used to use that back then.
So there was Nick's. There was the Comedy Connection.
Within a couple block radius in that what they called the combat zone back in those days, in Warrenton and
the Playboy Club was down there.
Yeah, but this is after the Playboy Club when I started doing the comedy. So it was 85, but I took time off. When I quit, I took time off for like a year before I came back with the guitar and did this whole, this ruse to Mike and Barry about doing an audition for them. But I took a year off and I wrote ferociously for a year.
And you're a great writer.
I gotta have this much material and stuff. So, yeah. So what was the question?
Where were you harvesting? Where were you getting? Where were you seeing your material Like, what
You know
is
what?
it
I
coming
help
from?
a lot of comics starting out, and I say, oh, I'm going to sit at my desk and write. No, don't sit at your desk.
Yeah.
Nothing happens at your desk. I says, go eat with your parents. Go on a date.
Experience something.
Go. Take your kid to a ball game. Go to the supermarket. But look around you. Be aware of your surroundings and be aware of what's funny and most of all, be disciplined. I was a lawyer, so I was disciplined. So I always, every girlfriend, give me a pen, give me a piece of paper, right? I'm going down the highway 80 miles an hour. I got an idea. I had to write it down. They would get me those everybody would buy me these things because they
Merry
knew,
Christmas, here's
they knew
another
I'd be-
recorder.
Oh, all the time. And I never used them because I felt like Secret Squirrel. I was talking into my little recorder like on the highway.
Get another gift card of Radio Shack.
Yeah, I got like 4 of those sitting around with dust on them. I never used them because I was visual. I needed to write it down and stuff. But you said where are you getting your material? Yeah, so you gotta live life.
Yeah.
If you want to sit down at your desk and write, go there to refine the ideas that you put down that you observed while living life. If you want to sit down, hey, I got to rewrite a joke and. And the rewriting is as important as the writing. One of the best pieces of advice I ever gave to someone was a comic in L.A. I was helping out when I lived there, and they came over the house. I've been working, Paul, and so good. So what do you got? I got a new joke. I said, well, let's hear it. They told the joke. They said to me, what do you think? I said, well, what do you think of your own joke? I think it's a good joke. I said, why don't you want it to be a great joke? And they said, I never even thought of that. I said, well, that's the difference between being good and being great. You want to work on that. You want to perfect it. You want to rewrite it until you get it just right. Then once you get it just right, that's it. Don't deviate it. Keep it that way,
And you are a perfectionist, man. I mean, I know when you wrote your first book, I know you and I had talked, and I helped you do some marketing with the first book. And just like you said, your note-taking in general and your attention to detail is beyond anything like.
Which is kind of a crossover from being a lawyer to, all that stuff, all those skills you learned, even though, I'm not in court now, but the skills you learn, the discipline, the public speaking, the thinking on your feet, being organized, being disciplined, so, all that stuff comes into being.
And you mentioned L.A. What was like? I tried that. I mean,
But they're finding out about L.A. now. I go, oh wow! I was instinctively, I was right. That place was evil.
And that's what I hear.
I just had a bad vibe out of that place.
I started, as you know, I was doing like the improv stuff in the '90s, and I like emceeing more than having a long stand-up set. But when I started like '93, '94. I used to do a lot of shows up. Remember the Grill 93?
Of course, yeah.
Ronnie Salvo, all those guys.
Yeah.
I remember seeing Bill Burr up there and Patrice O'Neill and my buddy
Billy's
Mike
another
Coleman.
one started with me, just right after me. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Billy, yeah.
I remember seeing like 92, 93, and then he darted off to New York. And another kid I actually went to high school with, Bobby Kelly.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, Malden
Toured
High.
with Dane, yeah.
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 So then and again, I did the LA thing for like a blink. But what was your take on it, and do you think that is a route that you need to go? Like, what was your experience?
Well, in retrospect, if I had, like, people say, you have any regrets and things? Not really, I don't. The only thing, and it's not a regret, but I would have changed, I probably should have gone to New York rather than L.A., because I got to L.A. and I get there and they go, do you want to write a movie? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to be in a sitcom? Okay. Whatever happens, I'm
in. Is that what
right?
everybody do?
and I realized all I wanted to do was be a stand-up, and not to be a stand-up because of money or fame, but to be recognized by my peers for where I stood with them, and that's like sometimes the only recognition I would get was people coming up to me, who like people that I respected, like a Drew Carey or David Spade or Gary Shandling or somebody I respected so
Great
much.
writers.
Chris Rock came up to me, and oh, you're a great comic and stuff like that. And they validated me because I'm not getting any validation from the clubs. They would never put me on. It's something that's one of the biggest mysteries in my life, why nobody gave me a chance there. And then I realized, and now I'm trying to explain to my father. Now here I am, I'm a successful lawyer. I leave the DA's office. I even became a successful defense attorney. Not that I was really enjoying the whole process, but
You were
But,
feeling
but
better.
I'm trying to tell my father, and my father's going, "How you're in L.A.? What's going on?" I said, you know what? It's like it's 2 plus 2 isn't 4 in this business. It's like if you're a baseball player and you're in the minors and you're hitting 350, they're gonna bring you up.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
You get the numbers. You have a pitcher, you're throwing 100 miles an hour. He throws 100, bring him up. In L.A., it was like.
It's a different breed.
It's not like, the funniest guy made it or the best guy made it.
It's who you knew.
It's just, who knows? It was just, there was no rhyme or reason to it. And you'd see things. I never begrudged anybody else's fame, but you go, wow, maybe it'll be my turn, and stuff. But you know what? God has a plan or whatever. It's kind of like, in the scheme of things, I came home a year before my dad passed away, which I was like incredibly thankful for. The guy who was supposed to produce my one-man show back in Boston, he became off the grid. He went off the grid and just dumped the whole and I had to put all my stuff in boxes, gave away my TV, my stereo, my furniture to my friends, and said, I got to move back, put my other stuff in boxes, mail it back. I'm going to lose a fortune on these one-man shows. I have 2 theaters booked. There's no ads. There's no insurance. Nothing's been done. This guy dropped the ball on me. And I went back and I tried to sell. I did a lot of radio, tried to salvage, and I still lost money, but not as much as I would have. But I'm still friends with that guy who screwed me. And one day I sat him down. I'm going to tell you why I'm still friends with you after you did what you did. Why? He says, because you made me go home and I got to spend a year with my dad before he passed away. So
It's priceless.
you did me a favor. Same way the lawyer who gave me the worst motor vehicle homicide case ever, where I'm with the crying family. My client, hit this kid and killed him, and now I'm the bad guy. Instead of making people laugh,
Right.
I'm with crying people with sad family. I'm the bad guy because I'm representing him. And
Your spirit
the
wasn't in
lawyer
it.
who gave me that thing, I should have hated you, but I says I'm so thankful because you made me. It went so far. It made me realize that okay, I got to go. I got to go to L.A. That was it.
This is what I'm supposed to be doing.
I finished up my trials that I had remaining, and I went. So you did me a favor, like the guy who dropped the ball on the one-man shows. You made me come home. So the same way, I think whatever the scheme of whatever happened in L.A., it's all for a reason, and I came home, and now I can work out of Boston. And what's really important to me, you realize as you get older, too, your friends, your family. You can have a million people. You can be at Madison Square Garden selling it out, but you don't know those people,
Right.
It's for a second, it's a great feeling and stuff like that. Then you go sit in a hotel room and
You're by
you're
yourself.
alone and stuff like that. And I got a nice family and
The
and
money's
amazing
nice.
friends and I love it around here. And so so whatever happened, there's no regrets. It is what it is.
And you're working 7 days a week. But you're always wherever I drive or if I look online, you have a gig going.
Well, yeah, I'm
somewhere.
being a little more selective. It happened because I would work like crazy, and then when the COVID lockdowns happened,
God.
all of a sudden I'm stuck in the house. What am I doing? But I go, oh, this is another life, and I got to keep myself busy. That's one of the things in the art show. Is my girlfriend bought me? She knew I used to do models when I was a kid. When I was like a young teenager in 6th grade and stuff, I had models in adult car shows and stuff. I had sprayed them. I jacked up cars, and I customized and stuff. So she goes, "You used to make models." I saw this lobster boat on thing. I'm kind of interested. She got it for me for my birthday, and it's like, I open up the box. It's just a bunch of sticks.
Right.
I go, "What's this?" I gotta like bend the planks.
The IKEA. It was the IKEA box
it's
set.
less than IKEA. At least IKEA, you just screw it in. This
They
one,
give you that stupid little Allen wrench.
I gotta soak the planks, and I gotta bend them, and I had super glue all over my hands for like 2 months, and I couldn't play the guitar because my hands were like a monster's hands, and they had all super glue in. But it was such a rewarding experience because every time I got to a different level, I can't do the next level. I can't do this. And then I'd find a way, and I'd go to bed thinking about, okay, so if I just overlap the boards.
You got the schematic going on in your
Yeah,
dream.
Because I customized a lot of the pieces for it. So more people commented on that damn lobster boat. So right in the middle of the art show, I got a glass case. The lobster boat there's going to be storyboards with the building of the lobster boat that you see the progress and stuff. And So
Will that be an item up for sale, or is that
no,
is
get
this
out of
display?
here! Are you
Display.
kidding me?
Display.
You kidding me? No way.
Took you
No,
20
no,
years
that
to-
took too long. No. It might be
You missed-
getting dust on it, but nobody. No, I don't care.
You'll have an
yeah.
alarm system all around it, laser
God,
beams.
yeah, like the Hope Diamond. Yeah.
Oh my God.
No,
Cool, man.
Yeah, but so many people asked about that, and then and then we got and then I got of course I got a whole section of back to the art show, my sports section. I did. My friend had a book about the Red Sox Yankees rivalry
Yep.
right before the Red Sox finally won after 86 years, and I did.
Was it 02 or I'm drawing a blank now.
04, was it
04?
04?
04.
And
yeah.
and he asked me to illustrate the book. So
Oh,
I
that's
had
great.
like all these illustrations, like moments in Red Sox Yankees history. Forget trying to get license for Major League Baseball. It's like it's impossible. I hired a law firm in Boston, and they finally said we give up.
Even as a
and
lawyer.
they did this. They did
Right.
this. That was their specialty.
Is that a
And they-
trademark attorney
Oh,
or
it's everything.
patent?
Like if they're playing for the team, you got to go through the team. If they're retired, you got to go through Major League Baseball. If they're dead, you got to go through the estate of the family and things. And they wouldn't give out any. I couldn't get licensing. I tried, so they just sat there collecting. But now, now I can display these things and.
I
and
actually
stuff.
do some work with the team on an advertising level, but if I can help you, there's a few people I know over there at Fenway. If it's still active.
Well, you'll see. Go to the art show, then see the
Yeah,
stuff, and then see
absolutely.
what you think. And then I did, then I got sports themed stuff. I got that. I did a cover of a book that my friend Bob Hildberg. I don't know, Bobby. He's the historian
For the Patriots.
For the Patriots.
Yeah, I know Bobby.
I drew
Yeah,
the
he's-
cover for his second book.
Oh, okay.
So like I'll have
He's a
that
great
on
guy. I like him.
display. I'll have on
Sorry.
the original artwork. That's. I love how people get the modern phone, but they get the old-fashioned. Oh wow, I got this like really cool phone, and you're trying to like next thing you'll be putting a dial on it.
I got rotary dial on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
back.
yeah,
There's
yeah,
and a
yeah.
slot for quarters.
Yeah, and a long cord. Yes.
I used to pull up beside the payphone in my car.
Yeah.
I used to have a Pontiac Grand Prix, and I'd pull up beside the payphone. It'd be able to use the phone. It was odd. And then nowadays you got that your whole
Yeah.
computer and your whole life on the phone.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, that's I said to my friend, I hate doing that colonoscopy prep. Drinking that stuff. I said, next time I have a colonoscopy, just to clean I'll just have someone hide my phone, and I'll go looking around. I go, oh, my stomach will go like liquid, and it'll clean me out.
I'm due 3 weeks. I got to go for that. And they told me to pick up that drink like a month ago.
Oh, you've got to go? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't complain. It's my only film credit.
I love it. All right. So
How
tell
much
me,
did you make on the back end?
So the art show sounds awesome. Is it going to be a bar? There's going to be music.
There's no
Cover charge.
admission price. Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, it's
Okay.
free to everybody. Is it going to be what, a bar?
Bar. You guys said there's going to be music. Will they
Do
have
you
like
a-
cocktails?
I don't know. They have a liquor license. Don't you need a liquor license?
It's
for that?
Wakefield. You know people in Wakefield. You're like the head of mayor of Wakefield. You and Bobby Moses.
And who's going to pay for this bar?
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, a
you know.
cash bar.
Yeah, they should have a little. If they got music going in the art, they should have some like past hors d'oeuvres. I know the library does it.
Shots? Can we do shots?
Well, you-
My brother, my
get-
brother used to be the single. I went down. My brother used to do when the Patriots were like unbelievable and score when Randy Moss 50
Oh,
points
yeah,
a game.
yeah.
My brother, we'd watch the game, and every time the Patriots scored, a shot of Rebel Yell. Right, a field
Is that-
goal,
is that-
half a shot for a field goal, a shot for a turnover. If
that-
they-
is that a
if
Billy Idol
rally
thing?
shot if they weren't doing anything, huh?
Is Rebel Yell a Billy Idol?
No, it's
Billy
just,
Idol
it's
beverage?
just it's just a low end bourbon. And so when new owners came into the liquor store down the street, I went down there, and nice people, Indian people, and I said, I think you want to get Rebel Yell. You don't carry Rebel Yell. Oh, we don't have it, right? I said, well, my brother drinks. He has people over. They drink a lot of that stuff. So he ordered the next thing. In 2 weeks, he had a he had a 6-foot display
Of Rebel Yell?
Yeah, because my brother, like if you saw the Rebel Yell, like where it was distributed in the country, it was like beep beep right in my brother's place.
What? I got an ice luge. We'll bring an ice luge down.
Ice luge. Yeah.
So India. So you mentioned the Indian people that own the liquor store. What is the bit? Are you still doing the bit about the football teams? Because it all came to fruition.
Well, not only that, but I added to it.
That-
What, the Redskins?
Yes.
I
I mean,
added to that. Yeah, it's funny how sometimes you add and then you subtract and then you add and
but it came to
the
life
Redskins.
over the past couple years.
And now look, and now the tribe is suing to try to get the name back. Well, here's the thing. Oh, all right, here's the thing. They say, the white people are bad. They eliminated the Indians. They decimated the Indians. There's no Indians left because of the white people and stuff. So now you go take the Indian off the butter box, right? And take the Indian off the name of this team. And take the Indian mascot away and stuff like that.
Even for
And now
Wakefield.
you're taking away the Indians. There'll be no memory. Like I was a Wakefield Warrior. I played basketball, baseball, football in high school. I was proud. I had an Indian with the headdress, a chief. That's something you aspire to. That's something I'm proud. That's something.
A heritage.
Yeah.
Previous teams.
It's like
and-
I wear that warrior logo with pride, and I aspire to be a leader like that chief, that great chief and stuff. And then you get people from out of town. They come here, we want to take the warrior thing off and stuff. You don't even know the history of that. And so now these, I believe maybe that's one of the reasons these Indian people go, you know what, you're going to wipe out any memory of us. If we can't be portrayed in anything, you're going to take us off the helmet, going to take us off the logo, going to take away the mascot. Then then you're wiping out the memory
changing
of
history.
who we are.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But I remember that bit.
Yeah, the
and then-
Redskins, yeah. Who lives in Washington, D.C., right? The President, Congress, all the federal agencies, the IRS, the Department of this, the Bureau of that. That's the team they should call the Steelers, right? Now more than ever. So don't get me started.
No, but
That stuff,
it's funny. Like I think about that now when I see like
A lot of things
Wash
are
is the
prophetic.
Generals. Is it the Commanders? Are they the Commanders now?
Remember I had the cocktail wagon at the end? I
Yeah.
want the ice cream,
Yeah.
and the kids have an ice cream man. I want a cocktail wagon. Now I just did a show at a party for Dennis Drinkwater, Wakefield resident, his
Yeah,
80th
Dennis.
birthday party. I had to roast him, and
Man
there was
behind
a
home
truck
plate.
that pulled up with a trailer that turned into a bar.
Oh, that's
and
a
it
great
had
idea.
stools, and it had beautiful bathrooms and everything, and there's a bartender in the middle and all the stuff, and it was like a cocktail
mobile, big
wagon.
mobile
So
unit.
I was prophetic. Yeah, I was
And was it out? He had it outside or inside?
outside.
The party-
Outside, yeah, they pulled it up outside.
They
It's a
pulled it
long-
up in.
long story. Rich
I-
people.
He's a nice.
Dennis is
obviously
great, yeah.
See him behind home plate all the time, and I remember I had met him when I had worked at WBZ. I obviously knew him through all the 1-800-50-foot giant stuff,
Yeah.
and then he came. Part of my family owns some-
There's only three phone numbers I remember now because everything is a speed dial. Is 867-5309,
Yeah.
1877 cars for kids, and 1-800-54 giant. Those are the only three numbers I can recite off. I don't even know my mother's number. I think it's on speed dial. One.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. And if I lost my phone, I know everybody by name.
Yeah, but Dennis, you were talking about Dennis. He's such a great guy. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, awesome guy, and he. So some of my family owns some property in Reading, and I was in the office over there one day, and he had come by, and he actually wanted to rent the building, and I was like, oh, yeah, I met you before, I had worked at WBZ, and blah blah blah, and I, obviously see you at the Red Sox games, and he just wanted to rent the building for all this Red Sox memorabilia.
Oh, I can imagine. Oh, really?
Like he's got I guess he
No
has
kidding. I would imagine he might.
just
yeah.
to have it all on display, like all this
Yeah,
stuff
well,
he does.
I mean, our grandparents were friends, and then Dennis's house in my family has a house in Magnolia. He's 2 houses away from us.
Oh, nice.
So it was
That's
his
a nice
birthday.
area.
I was telling, it's amazing that he built this amazing company. That all it does is repair and replace broken glass, and amazing that he started it all with just a bunch of business cards and a cardboard box filled with rocks and baseballs,
And a determination. Just- yeah.
and a good throwing arm. right. In fact,
Slingshot,
I even
good slingshot.
I said, Dennis, I says, I know the family. I says, I'm so proud of what he's accomplished and everything. I says, when he first started out, because the first corporate show, honest to God, I ever did was Giant Glass in Lawrence, Mass. And it was probably like 1987 or so. And
God.
Dennis had me do the show. And I said, back then, Dennis invested everything in the company. And then we had a little money left over. Got a big neon sign that said Giant Glass, with red letters. And Dennis was so proud of this. But it's hard to start a business, And you're struggling at the beginning, and a couple bulbs go out. And Dennis couldn't afford to replace them. And for a year and a half, the sign said Giant Ass. And I says, and this was long before the Kardashians made it popular, you know. So we teased Dennis, and we had a nice time. We roasted him, and he's a good man. Yeah, so good friend.
Who were some of the comics that you're seeing today that you like to work with? Or, you know, and again, I know you're doing gigs all the time, but just there's so many of them out there, and it's finally after COVID. I know people were doing shows in parking lots, and they were
Yeah, I
comedians.
turned down a lot of that stuff. Like, you know, I turned down literally tens of thousands of dollars in Zoom shows.
Yeah, how do you do that?
I can't
Like-
do a show into a phone. You know, it's not meant to be done. And you know, for lack of a better word, laughter is infectious.
Yes,
you know, when
you need
people
that
are
energy.
together. Well, you've ever did a show and you're doing a show and there's a dance floor between you and the first row. There's a big gap. That makes a difference when everybody's in there together. It's
electric.
you know, it's catchy. You know, again, but you know, you laugh, and then the people around you laugh, and that's the way it should be done. You know, and not all spread out and judgmental and
No, and
things.
like you said,
And
Zoom.
that's another issue. There's the physical things that happen during, and now there's the mental things that are happening about you know, because that's what question I get asked a lot is like, what's it like, the atmosphere, and to do comedy now. You know, it's like because everybody's so judgmental and
Right.
virtue signaling and this, that, and like a lot of those people, you know, a lot of those people, they don't go to a comedy show. You know, a lot of, you know, if you're that angry, you're looking for stuff to complain about every day. You're not going. You're gonna. I don't think I'll go laugh tonight.
Right,
You
they're
know,
the ones that go on
maybe
Facebook.
If the club was called Misery Loves Company, maybe they
Right.
they go for a happy hour. You know.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're not gonna go. You know, if you wake up angry and you're looking for things to complain about and everything's negative and you're making excuses and you got no personal responsibility and you spinning your wheels, you're going nowhere. You know, you're not the type of person that's going to go, I think I'll go laugh at a comedy show.
They're writing reviews on like the Starbucks barista on what they were wearing. Like they're just writing.
You know,
Those
like
are the ones
you
that
got
write.
nothing better to do.
Yeah, like stop
I
with
gotta
the reviews.
I gotta do more stuff on social media because I just can't stand it anymore. Looking at people's lunch and stuff and everything, and people putting. I got. If he took his shoe off, he takes a picture. He's got like this disgusting foot, and he goes, "What do you do for foot fungus?" I go, "I'll tell you what you don't do. You don't put a picture of your disgusting foot
Right.
on the thing." I says, you know, you whisper to a pharmacist or you go to a doctor, you look it up on WebMD. You don't like, nobody's ever going to invite you to a pool party now. And I love and you know what? And I watch these things. I see people abusing an animal. They abandon a dog. I'm like, I'm emotional. I'm getting almost teary-eyed. I see a person get hurt.
I see people.
Look at this idiot, right? I see a person get hurt. Like, this is.
I see people posting from bed, like we're in the hospital. Like they're in the hospital.
No, yeah. Here's
I'm
my
like-
infection.
I'm like, dude,
Here's
you're in
my
the
stitches.
hospital.
I don't
Nobody
want
wants
to see
to
your
see-
stitches.
I don't want to see you in the hospital.
But no, I don't want to see that. There's another thing. Oh, happy heavenly birthday. I don't even know hey, happy birthday to the dead person.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. No, I don't even know
It's
what
private.
to say.
It is private.
Happy heavenly birthday. I don't even know how to respond to that.
It's
I didn't get a present. I don't know what do you get a dead person? You know. I don't know. There's got to be humor in that because it drives me crazy.
But they like to get back to your point, like the people that come out for the comedy shows that are critics. It's like it's our job as comedians to take the aggravation that's out there every day and put a funny spin on it.
Well,
Like
here's the thing. In my act, I have no animosity. You could say two things two totally different ways. I mean,
Right,
you could
right.
say
Your
something that
delivery.
has venom behind it, that has anger, that has condescension, derogatory, you know? And you can say another thing, and it might be on the same topic, but you handle it well, or you handle it with humor, or you make jest of the situation, you know? So like last night, I said something about, it was a very innocent, like, gay joke, right? And somebody said something, and I said, can I tell you something? Every day, we got the first gay mayor, I got the first gay governor, I got the gay soccer star, it's Gay Pride Month, it's everything. This is how can I not talk about it?
Right. It's
As long
new,
as I'm
it's
not
current.
disrespectful.
Yes, it's
You know, I
current.
said this
It's
has to be
current.
the Secretary of Health is the transsexual. The transsexual is playing women's sports. Transsexual swimmer, and yeah. Well, why is that off limits to me? Because you know, as long as I'm not disrespectful, I got to
Right.
talk about that's wait. You know, because in my act, you know who I make fun of? I make fun of my mother. Don't say that. Don't watch. No, I didn't mean.
Mom,
that.
sorry,
No,
no.
just no. In the nicest way possible. But my relationship, my girlfriend, myself, mostly myself.
Right, the self,
Other
yeah.
people, politicians. I make fun of institutions. I make fun of everything. So if I can't, why do you have exalted status? I'm just treating you like an equal. You're not asked to be treated as a superior. You're asked to be treated like an equal. So if I can say something and just make it humorous and not offend it, but sometimes people hear a trigger word. Oh, you can't.
They're
you can't
they're
talk about
hearing
because
it.
I heard a word,
Right,
and now I
right.
judge. And a lot of times I go, you didn't even listen to what I said.
Right.
You just heard a word and you judged.
You
Or you
twi-
virtue
yeah.
signaled, oh, because I'm better than you, because I says, you know what? I'm just saying something, and this is a topic
It's a
that
current
people are
topic.
dealing with every single day.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I'm not going to self-censor myself.
You're gonna start doing
know?
Henny Youngman jokes.
Yeah, but so you know, so you're walking a thin line about, you know, so yeah.
Without offending
gotta
people, and
definitely,
it's-
yeah. I always kind of try to walk the line, talk about stuff, but I don't want to alienate people from my act. I want you to see the humor in things, and not take stuff seriously, because that's the way to cope with stuff when things are tense and you can't pay the bills and everything like that. Humor is how you cope. But now all of a sudden, if humor is you're doing an act and you're scared,
Right,
Because
then-
I'm
then
afraid
it's-
to do this, everything. Then you know what? That's a bad. It's a bad reflection on society that it gets to that. You know.
And like you said, it's current. It's what's current and what people are buzzing about. And if you don't address, I'm not even saying address. If you can't like poke fun at that,
Yeah,
then
because I'm
it's like-
poking fun at everything else.
it's the big elephant in the room.
And
It's
this
like,
is
just
the
stop.
thing, but if it's just like the topic is off limits to me, that's really not fair. That's you're really tying my hands behind my back, because this is something that everybody's dealing with every day, and so I'd like to address it.
Right, especially since you cover such a global. You come all full circle with everything. You
Oh
just
my God!
touch.
My girlfriend says funny thing. I write it down, you know, and I make it in. I rewrite it and make it into a joke or something like that. That's not. That's like everyday life.
Right.
You
And
know, you're
that's-
making fun, and that's the way. And I used to tell comics, like I say, oh, how do I look for material? I go, you got to be looking. So say you have a roommate, and you go to take a shower, and there's a black curly hair on the sofa. You're like, that's disgusting. If you're a comedian, you go, oh, I can write a joke about that.
There's a bit. There's a bit there.
So now it's almost cathartic. Instead of getting angry about this thing, oh God, I can turn this into something funny. It's almost like a cathartic experience. So if you can take a difficult subject that somebody's dealing with every day, and maybe it's tense, maybe it's controversial or something, and you can like make them laugh about it, that helps them to deal with that subject. It helps them to.
And it's such a glow. Like
understand.
everybody has gone through that. The whole roommate situation. The whole.
But it's just it's a matter of perspective.
Yes. 100%.
It's a matter of perspective. How do you look at it?
Well, listen, we're gonna wrap up. I just wanted.
Wow, that
to
went by
thank-
fast.
Yeah.
I got time. I
Yeah.
got
All
time,
right. I don't want to hold you. I know you're
I
gonna.
got a show at 8. It's and it's close.
Okay.
The show is
All right.
close.
Very good.
Yeah, it just seemed like abrupt. I mean, if you
No.
want to wrap it up, I'll wrap it up.
I didn't want to hold you. I know
We can
you
do
had
like
to-
The Godfather, part 1, 2, 3 wasn't so good.
Andy Garcia. Andy Garcia. I was kind of surprised. I thought that would have
Just
been.
everything was. But anyway, that doesn't matter.
So getting back to the art show, the other thing I want to ask: what are you using to paint now? Because I'm familiar. I did some painting myself back in the day. I'm familiar with charcoal. Do you do charcoal? Is
No,
it oil
not
paint?
really. I did. Well, the scratch boards were a medium onto itself. You know, it's the treated paper, and you,
Right. Yeah, I'm
what I
familiar
would
with
do,
that.
and I'd draw a thing in pencil, then I'd transfer the pencil drawing onto the. I'd bear down hard on the pencil drawing, and it would leave an impression on the treated paper, which is like a wax with a kind of Indian ink coating on it. And
Yep.
then I'd take all these tools and I'd scrape it off, and it leaves white. So you're doing like a negative thing. So there's that. And then most of the other stuff was pen and ink markers, watercolor markers, colored pencils, a combination of all of those things. And then the paint. I did one painting when I was in high school, and then I just started painting. And I used acrylics only because I have ADD and they clean up fast. And you know,
No!
instead of me like changing the oil when I was a kid and going, oh, oil came from the ground, so if I bury it in the backyard, it'll,
Put it back to Mother Nature.
Recycling,
Give it
right?
back to
Early
Mother Nature.
recycling, right? So I did it with acrylics, and every time I paint, it's like I'm taking a lesson, but there's no teacher. I'm taking a lesson, but I got to teach myself, and a lot of times it's by error, trial and error and stuff. But the paint, I noticed one of the things is it's correctable. You screw up, you paint over it or something, and so it's a learning. That's why everyone. It's exciting. It was like building that lobster boat. It's like challenging. Like how am I gonna pull this off?
And like, there's a lost art. My wife and I joke around about sending out cards. Like we still send out Christmas cards. I know you're big with birthdays.
I
like
used
you
to
call
do that,
me every
until
birthday.
It just got out of hand, and then I stopped. Yeah.
Do you get requests for people? Do you get requests from friends or online to draw, to do gifts? Like
Yeah, and I've done that for a couple people, but it's such a big commitment to me. I mean, I got so many other things going in my life, and I do one of those paintings, and it must be the opposite ADD. I just get like really,
You want it to be
I got to get
perfect.
done. Like I'll stay up till 4 in the morning. I can't go to sleep. Oh, maybe I'll get up. I'll do one more little thing, and 4 hours go by, and it's a huge commitment to me. So. And I have to have a passion for what I do, so it's got to be something I want to do.
Okay, you don't want to be doing a picture of my
did these
grandmother
things.
and my inner cat.
Ever see a coat of arms?
Yeah.
The ancient
the
coat of
big
arms.
shield and all that,
I'm
yeah.
looking at a coat of arms one time, and someone was explaining, well, the wheat is the earth, my family of the thing, and
the snake that wraps
but
around
it's
it.
all like it's all symbolism, and it's like I don't get it. And one time I'm on a Zodiac down in the rivers off the Annisquam, the little tributaries, with my friend Doogie, who used to drink Miller beer by like the 24 pack, right? And I go, you drink so much of that beer. I was looking at these coats of arms. If they did a coat of arms of you, there would be a Miller beer can.
logo.
And I took a napkin and I made a coat of arms for him with all the things that pretty much defined him.
That represented him.
Defined his
Yeah.
life.
Uh-huh.
And I went home, I did it, I put it in a frame, I gave it to him. I've done 24 of those, but they were all
wow.
people who were like the closest people to me. I've done 24, I think 6 of those people have passed away. And
So-
every one of these coats of arms is right next to the casket because it encapsulates their whole life.
Oh, that's interesting.
And so, and I have a little thing that says, please don't even ask. This is, I can't, because everybody, I want that for somebody called me up, I want to do this for a guy who was my father's friend. I said, I would love to do that, but I still got friends. I haven't done them for my brothers and sisters
I haven't done it for the
yet.
people that are alive.
Well, no, but I just, so it's, and this goes back to the fact, the way we started the whole conversation, that I never did anything to sell it. It was always to give to somebody as a gift. My family had the house in Magnolia. I did paintings that they could put on the walls. Because you're in Magnolia, so now I got Gloucester paintings. Here's the motif number 1. Here's the Cape Pond ice. Here's the manufacturing building. Things that iconic things in Gloucester. I drew that for the family house, not to intend to sell them.
We were up there.
Music icons, all the music things are just tributes to people that were important in my life, influences in my life, music influences.
Are you doing any sports? You did the
Yeah,
Red Sox
I
stuff.
just did. I think my favorite painting was a Joe. When I was a kid, Joe Namath was my hero.
Oh my God,
As
Broadway
much-
Joe.
As much,
Broadway Joe.
As much because I was just like I was reaching puberty and stuff. As much for his football playing as his lifestyle. I want to be Joe Namath, right? So my whole room was Joe Namath pictures, and I just did I cut a picture out of a sport magazine in like 1969 or 70. I think it was a year after the Super Bowl. Joe coming off the field at Shea Stadium, and it's cold and it's foggy and stuff. And I cut that out of a magazine when I was 14 years old, and I kept it all these years. And I did a picture of that. I did a painting of that, and I think it kind of gives you that feeling of it's cold, and Joe just got a crap beat out of him. He just got hit, and he's coming off the field like slope showed it, and stuff. And I just found, when I was supposed to be taking notes in high school, I found 2 on lined paper 2 pictures I did of Joe Namath, pencil
that's
drawings
hilarious.
when I was supposed to be taking notes, and I put them in a frame next to this painting.
Next to your report card that had a pile of D's on it.
No, it wasn't
you were
a pile of
drawing.
these. That was just artwork. But yeah, so I got that. I got the Joe Namath. I got the cover for the Patriots. I got the covers I did of my CDs that I drew my own covers. The T-shirts.
Oh, your own
I
artwork
designed.
for your
Yeah,
comedy CDs.
That kind of stuff. Photographs. My friend Mitch Stinson, you say,
Oh,
who
yeah.
do you like to work with? Mitch. We're best of friends, so whenever I got a show, I always recommend. I mean, and then people now the bookers are calling on. Hey, you want to do a show? And they said, I'll put Mitch. All right, I'll do it. All right, so Mitch and I will go together as a team, So
How's he
Mitch,
doing?
He's doing good. He inspired me. He says, you got this great photography. Why don't you put that in there? And I said, yeah. So I did photography. He said, what makes my photography any different? Because I see also amazing photographers. Well, again, it's a matter of perspective. It's like, okay, I find the beauty maybe in something that somebody else might have overlooked, and I crop them different. There's 9x16, so it's like your TV is. It's like a panorama, like a
It's a panoramic view.
widescreen. It's like a widescreen thing. So it's like a little different look and what sets
Can
it
you
apart.
frame that? Can you get frames for that?
Yeah, but you know what I did? I couldn't frame everything, so I had him. My friend Jeff at the Frame Shack is. I think I bought him a new car. I didn't put all the stuff, but he putting a lot of stuff, so I couldn't
They
frame
paint
it
a
all.
picture of my Ferrari now.
I had him mount them and put mat on every one of them and stuff. So that cultural center is really cool. It's kind of broken up and stuff. I might have you walk in, it'll probably be like an introductory room there because they have displays there. Then they got a separate room. I might put all the coats of arms in there because it's personal. People can look at the details and stuff. The lobster boat will be in the middle, and everything else will be by theme.
What a security
rock
guard.
and roll stuff.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, security guard. It depends if we have that bar that you talked about.
Are these items going to be for sale, or are you just doing?
That's what
display?
everybody asks. So look, I can't afford to. It just makes no sense to keep an inventory of stuff. So what I'm going to do, I'll have a book that people could, if you're interested in something, sign up, and I'll give you a quote on what it would cost to get a print or something.
Okay.
If you want it, if you want me to get it mounted for you, if you want whatever.
I mean, again, I see your stuff on Facebook, and when I see the artwork, and like you alluded to earlier, there's an energy to it.
Yeah, well,
Like,
I don't know what is it that about my artwork that the people resonate with. Like my friend Mitch, I just did a Jaws painting.
Oh, that's huge right now.
I got inspired right
My
around
favorite movie.
right on 4th of July, and it's the picture of the orca at night with the barrel coming up, and I got a full moon, and it's reflecting on the thing and stuff. So I did that, and my friend Mitch, who we were just talking about, he went nuts over it, and I'm going, really? You think that's not good? I was like, I like my comedy.
No, and the moon glows. Like, I don't know what you use.
I was telling the comedian, and he says, "Oh, you're critical of yourself." I go, if you're content with what you did, what's the incentive to get better?
You won't improve. Right.
He says, so like if you catch me looking at one of my paintings or something, I'm looking for the mistakes.
You're
I'm not seeing what came out. Good, that came out right, but geez, I wish I did that there. So, but that's what makes the next one better, because you allow to self-criticize, to evaluate, how would I do this different next time, And that's what's happening now is like, I think a new generation, they're not taught to fail.
Right.
Everybody who succeeds, you have to fail. I learned more from failing than get like in court. I would say, you get everything goes right. You don't learn from that as much as when you get admonished in front of a crowded courtroom and the judge and the jury, and you get yelled at, and oh God, I'll never do that again.
No, it
And it's the
teaches you to
same
go back and
same with comedy. When they say, what's the best shows you ever did? I don't know.
Right,
What's the
yeah.
worst shows? You go, oh, get a 6-pack. Let's sit down. Because why? How come you remember the bad shows? Because I said the good shows, it's like you get a pat on the back. It lasts for a second. A bad show, it's like they stabbed you in the stomach, so you have a scar that you don't forget.
but even the good shows. I mean, you've been doing this way longer than I have. Sometimes it's just you get the right audience. Like sometimes you just get an audience that wants to have fun. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can be spot on with your material, and just have like.
Well, the big thing with comedy, and one of the things that makes that different than almost anything else, is that the circumstances are totally different every night. You could be in the same venue. I could be at a comedy club working there 5 nights. I'm going to be there, Wednesday through Saturday or something like that. And every show could be different. Depends on the day of the week. Depends on what happened in the world that day. Depends on the weather. Depends on so many things, and so when you get to a certain level, the thing is to smooth it out. Okay, you know what? This is a bad situation, but I'll make it into a good
Let me adjust the volume here.
If it's the perfect venue and a perfect crowd and a perfect sound system and a perfect situation, yeah, guess what? You should do good. You know?
Yeah.
But if you take a situation, wow, this is less than perfect, and you still redeem yourself, you make it a positive thing, then that's an accomplishment.
And you run into those situations, and I'm sure you've been down this road too, where you're crushing it, and you got there's a bachelorette party in the audience, or a bachelor party,
Yeah.
or the waitress is walking around.
Well,
playing.
it used to be a club business.
Yeah.
And I could go on the road and I could do a club for a whole week, and they had shows Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 2 on Saturday, whatever. And you go work there the whole week. And now the clubs, I do clubs now just so people can go. Hey, where can I see you?
Right,
Because mostly now stuff, it's corporate stuff, special events, theaters,
Where was the
fundraising events, benefits, things like that. So you don't get a lot of time. You don't get the drunks so much. You don't get the unruly bachelor parties and stuff so much like you did in the clubs.
Are the corporate, but for the corporate events, Joey and I have done a few of those. When they're paid, like if they're there, and it could be just a matter of opinion. If the company's paying for it and the guests are just there for free, like if it's whatever company.
Oh yeah,
party.
that makes a difference too. Because if
Yeah.
you pay for a ticket, you want to get your money's worth.
Yeah,
But if
you
you're there
listen
for
to
free, hey, who's this guy? I didn't pay. I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't. This wasn't on. And the corporate things are also different. I think what happened. There's only so many comedians who could do corporate shows. Like if somebody calls me to do a corporate show and I can't do it, I look through a list of comedians and I go, oh, this guy's too dirty. This guy could horrify the crowd. This guy might be drunk. This guy might be high. You go down. This guy's unreliable.
Yeah.
Stuff like
And
that.
they're attached to your
so,
name.
there's only so many. So now I hear horror stories about people saying, oh, we hired this, this comedian and he said this and he horrified everybody and there were complaints, and that ruins it for me.
Right,
Because
they're
now
attached
they
to you.
go, oh, we can't have a comedian now because we're afraid of the repercussions. So that hurt me for the corporate shows because they're reluctant. Oh, we can't. People are oversensitive now. We can't take the chance that somebody's going to be offended. So those things, they dried up a lot, to be honest with you.
And what about the clubs? I wouldn't even obviously there's Giggles. I don't know what's happening with the Kowloon. Are they still doing it?
Yeah, they're in transition now. Yeah, there's no shows there now, but.
And then I know you do a big show is it New Year's Eve up at the
Yeah,
Lackham?
Lackham Theater in Beverly, yeah.
Yeah, is that
Yeah.
going to happen this year?
I hope so. I haven't
Okay.
talked to him. I hope it's become a tradition. I think I've done it 7 years, maybe. Yeah, and it's an honor. When I get to do a show in a theater, you start out. There's Aaron Lewis is a country star. He used to be the lead singer for Stained. I have a thing on my desk from his song State Lines. I've done concert halls and holes in walls and places that a show just shouldn't be. And I have that on there. I mean, when you work, when comedy first started out, there was a comedy when comedy was booming. I was at the end of the boom, and there was comedy in every Mexican restaurant, every Chinese restaurant, everything.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
some situations not so good, some better. And you're always going to get situations that are beyond your control, no matter how good you are. But those are the ones that now you get in a theater and you go,
It's a whole
you got to
different-
really appreciate this, you
Yeah,
know. And
you
I'm
made it.
and like I get in the theater and I'm backstage in the theater and I'm like, this is an honor to be able to do this, to be able. Now I got everybody like, there's no distractions. Everybody's looking at me. They're in a seat. They're facing me.
It's real.
I can do my thing, and stuff. And in fact, I just did that down in Nantucket. I just had a weekend at White Heaven Theater down in Nantucket, and it was
Oh, nice.
a lot of fun just to have the theater to yourself, you know.
How many seats are in that venue?
Maybe 120 or so.
Yeah, but it was a good crowd. Obviously, in the middle of summer.
Yeah,
Nantucket.
Yeah, but I had caught like a stomach bug from my dog. I had to look it up. Can you catch, like, my dog was violently like ill.
Can you catch diarrhea from my dog?
Basically, yeah, and it wasn't a coincidence because I was in the emergency room with him on my lap. Oh my God,
This is in Nantucket?
No, this is before I left.
Oh, okay. Oh my God.
Linda's
You were on the
crying.
ferry.
He thought he's sick and everything like that, and then so nursed him back to health. And as soon as he was better, and I'm looking up the thing. Can you get it from your dog? And I'm in Nantucket, like.
Hey Siri, can you get the stomach
God.
flu
And
from
it was
the
like
dog?
a couple of times I go, please just let me get through this out. I was like, the first show I did was the guy was supposed to do 15 minutes to open up, and I was supposed to do an hour, and he bailed after like 6 minutes. He just like, and now I got to do an hour and 10 minutes, and the whole time I'm like pinching my butt cheeks together. Please God, please just
Get
let
a
me
bottle
get
of
through.
Malox on the stool.
Yeah.
That's the worst about.
Yeah, 37 years. That was the first time that ever happened. 37 years, almost 8,000 shows, and that's the first time I had that experience.
And that's when you ask Alexa or Siri or whatever. Now AI is the big thing, but when you ask them, they give you all the worst answers. Like it may not be from your dog, but you may have cancer.
Oh, gee, thanks a lot. Yeah, they want to get rid of you anyway. It's a robot. It's hoping you get cancer.
It's so bad. Or if you Google it, it'll give you all the worst.
This is what I got to say about AI. Terminator 1 and Terminator 2. That's all I need to say about that, because that's where it ends up.
I was
plus,
watching.
look at this. The kid doesn't have to write a term paper. You just say, hey, write me a term paper. Now, nobody thinks anymore. You got to write a speech. You got to do anything. You're going to have the computer do it for you. So everybody's going to be just a blob.
That is what I hear. That's a big part of the writer's strike right now.
Yeah.
Is all the stuff that's going on with the AI,
Sure.
and even my kids when they come home. Like I know the schools now give them, they've been doing it a couple of years now. They give them laptops, and they come home and everything's done on the laptop.
Yeah.
And I'm like, not to sound like I'm 100 years old, but I was like the last year when I graduated high school that we use pen and paper and books. But they come home with a laptop now and they just Google, like you said, they're doing an essay or something. They just,
I used to go to the library and have to look at the books and look everything up.
Yeah, and actually read something and open a book and
now they get the computer to write it for them.
And AI, yeah, like we're just talking about AI.
It's like self-driving cars. I don't want a self-driving car because one day it's going to go. I'm going to say go to the ball game. Nah, I haven't been washed in a while. I think I'm going to go to the car wash and then maybe take a drive to the beach and go. No, what? Well, you're thinking for yourself. You're too smart a car.
I think like that. Oh, even on the other side, like we have a lot of the Nest stuff in the house, like the Ring doorbell and the automatic locks and all that. Like I think, like if you owe a parking ticket, like you're gonna get in your car and it's gonna lock you in the car and not let you out to the cops.
Yeah, exactly.
Or lock you in the house, almost like you're under arrest if you don't pay your taxes, and they're gonna lock your doors down and keep you on camera.
No, everyone thinks something's convenient and. It's like the cloud. Yeah, I have a joke about it, but I don't like my stuff on the cloud. Why? Because I want to be able to touch it.
Yeah.
Because if you touch it, if you take it away from me, I can get it back or say, you took that from me. But if it's in the cloud, then one day somebody goes, it's gone. Well, but where is it? I had that, and you don't have it anymore. What?
Yeah.
Or you can use it, or you can manipulate that.
I used to like to go to Photomat or Walgreens and see my pictures like being processed,
Yeah.
and then I could rip them up if I wanted to.
Yeah.
And, that's when I was drunk, or that's when I was on the cruise,
Yeah.
or my old girlfriend, and you throw them out. But like some of my buddies now that are divorced, or ones that are still single, are taking pictures of themselves and like putting them on these on these dating websites, like pictures of their body parts.
Oh, no.
And
Really?
that's like a thing. I'm like, why would you send? Do you think no one else is going to see that picture?
That's crazy.
That's out there.
I don't really get that.
That's out there forever now.
My friend Joe was on one of those, and everything's phony. My friend Joe was on one of those dating sites, and he's showing me, look at this girl. Check out this girl. Should I call her? And I said, I think that's an old picture, Joe. He says, why do you think that? I go, there's somebody churning butter in the background. I said, I think she's put on a few miles since that one, yeah.
She's got a Pat Benatar leotard on.
Yeah.
With the the picture from the '80s from Glamour Shots.
Pat Benatar, another person I opened up for.
Well,
That was fun. That went by fast.
it did. It did. And
I do
thank you.
I do have a show I got to do.
Is there where can they see?
Yes.
The web-
Well, you know what? You can go on my website, pdangelo.com. There's a schedule on there to find out about the art show. I'm going to plaster all over social media. Go on Facebook, and I have a Facebook fan page. I don't know what the name of it is. Called P. D'Angelo, Paul D'Angelo 2, something. I don't know, but it's the fan page.
They could
But
search
there's
you.
there's literally probably 100 different videos of me doing stand-up on there. And I got a friend, Kevin Gillespie, who is a genius, used to work for Parker Brothers, and I think it was Mattel or Milton Bradley, one of those things. He was on the cutting edge of video games, and he was one of the inventors of all those Nerf offshoots, like the Nerf arrow, bow and arrow,
Okay, the Nerf guns,
football,
all that
and
stuff,
thing
yeah.
and stuff. And he takes my audio files from some of my CDs and stuff, and he puts graphics to them. He puts animation to them, and those are on there. I mean, so there's literally about 100 videos of me doing stand-up if you go on my fan page. But also there's going to be, I also have an artwork page. All the artwork's on there and stuff. I'll be running stuff constantly on that. I'm going to, right the day after Labor Day, I'm going to send out text with this schedule to all the people, thousands of phone numbers I got.
Yeah, not that we want to give out your personal phone number, but online, is there a contact section on your website that they can reach out to you with
There might be,
questions?
I don't know. Whatever it is, I ain't answering it. Knock yourself out. But I mean, there's a
Paul's still working
but
with.
it's got
You still on AOL? Is that what you got? You still
Yeah,
on
I am.
AOL.com?
I'm like the last person.
Reach Paul at AOL.com.
All right, here's a little trivia about me. I have never once typed LOL, and I've never used an emoji ever. In
love
fact, when
it.
people send me a thing with emojis, I don't. I just think the stickers that the little kindergarten kids would put at the
Right,
end
yeah.
of the thing. It's what is that? Does that have a meaning to it? These little pictures? I don't know.
My wife's like that. She's like, you got to check your texts. I'm like, hon, we're gonna swap 30 texts. I go, just call me.
Yeah.
What'll take a 2-minute phone call. Like I really don't like looking at the text all the time. And it's
I
just
love
a
this.
different-
This is how sophisticated we got. It says a kid who's armed with nothing but a $1,200 phone
Right.
and a $100 a month, phone bill, can type a text message that will go up to a satellite in the atmosphere somewhere high above the earth, thousands of miles, right? That'll beam a signal back to a station here, which will beam a signal to that teenage kid's parents in the other room to say, what's for supper tonight?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Instead of going, hey, this is what I used to do. What's for supper tonight, right? But now this kid's got to go to space and back
For meatloaf.
to find out, what they've eaten.
So, all right. So they can get to pdangelo.com.
Yeah, and you can go on the Facebook. They're running on the social media. I think I'm on Instagram too.
You're not sure?
I am on, but sometimes I put stuff on there. I don't know if it's automatically goes. I don't know. It's just, I liked it when things were simple sometimes.
Well, they would just call you on the phone or
Yeah,
send you a postcard.
yeah.
What are the dates for the?
Opening night, Saturday, the 16th of September.
Okay.
6 to 8 o'clock, but we can go longer. The guy, Dan McGrath, who's running, he's the head
Oh,
of the
no,
cultural
Dan.
center. He's a
Great guy.
wonderful one. Couldn't be nicer guy, and it couldn't
Couldn't
be
agree
easy
more.
to work with. But he says, you can go if there's a lot of people there, you can go along. The Sunday after that, the 17th, is a matinee from 12 to 2 or whenever.
For the older people.
Patriots don't play till that night. Trust me, I would never have done it. I never would have done. Then that Wednesday the 20th and Thursday the 21st, 6 to 8 again.
Okay.
There's no
The
cover
following-
charge. there's
following
no-
weekend, okay.
Yeah, and then the 23rd is a Saturday night, 6 to 8. The 27th is a Wednesday night, 6 to 8, and then the finale will be the 29th, also 6 to 8. There's
Of
only one
September.
matinee. Everything else is from 6 to 8 o'clock.
Okay. And this will all be posted. If people can find your website.
Yeah, and it's right on Albion Street. There's no charge. It's just fun.
I love it.
No matter what, you go in there and maybe I'm not Rembrandt or I'm not Michelangelo, but
Paul D'Angelo,
it's going
close
to be
enough.
fun. It's going to be interesting. It's definitely going to be stuff you'll enjoy like like looking at. And
I
So-
see your stuff on Facebook,
so-
man, and and I'm not
I'm
not
gonna
saying
be playing
it 'cause you're here.
tunes. I'm gonna be playing.
Are you gonna bust the
tunes.
guitar out?
No, no, no. I was going to have my brother and Paul Shaba. I play in a band, too, Fender Bender, with my brother Chris and Paul Shaba, who's a Berkeley grad, a Wakefield guy, and a great friend. And I was going to have them play, but then I
that'd be
realized they'd
great.
have to be there for 7
night.
nights.
One
For
night.
maybe one night they will, but
And we'll get a beer sponsor, or we'll get that rum. What's that rum called? What's the booze?
it's a Rebel Yell.
We'll get Rebel Yell.
With a Rebel Yell.
So-
Try more.
Paul D'Angelo, thank you, buddy.
Michael, always a pleasure. You're a good friend.
Thank you,
And
same.
best of luck with this podcast.
Thank you. And I'm going to get your information. I'm going to post it on my page
Yeah.
as well for the events.
Well, Ryan's going to do a little graphics with this, and he'll put something up for you people to see
I love it.
where you can go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again. This has been the Boston Comedy Show with our awesome guest here, Paul D'Angelo, with the upcoming art show at the Albion
Albion Cultural Exchange.
Cultural Exchange. That's fancy. That sounds fancy. I
Yeah,
like
that
it.
sounds fancy.
All right. Well, we'll see you there. Thank you, folks.
Okay.
Have a great night. Take care.
Thanks for having me.